I'm Jason Weisser. I grew up in New York, actually a little town called Hicksville, not because it's redneck, because it was created by Hicks, who had the farm there. Giant Farm was a farm town, the Hicks Farm, but population of 50,000. And I ended up going to Syracuse for my undergraduate, which was awesome. I really enjoyed my time there and still really close with a lot of my friends there. Learned to shovel snow at a very rapid pace because the winters were a little tough. And then I went to New York Law School in New York, so I lived in the city for a few years. And I remember I took a year off between law school and college, and I was bartending in New York City and really enjoying myself. And my dad's like, "Oh, why don't you go to law school?" I'm like, "Yeah, not really desirous of being a lawyer." And he said, no matter what you do, being a lawyer is always going to help you in whatever profession you go in, which translated into 21-year-old Jason Weisser said, "Hey, 3 more years, you don't need a real job." So I did. I ended up going to law school, and they happened to be interviewing at my school for the state attorney's office in Miami. And it was just a very unique opportunity. The DA's offices in New York, either Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, they had such good lawyers and such high demand for those positions that after 3 years, you might be looking at a minor felony case that you could prosecute. In Miami, there was an incredibly high attrition rate, and by your 3rd year, your entire caseload was first degree and life felonies. So you got thrown into the fire pretty quick, and it was amazing, and it was a great time. And one of the attorneys who's a partner here, Mike Baxter, he and I started in the same class together. So that was really enjoyable. And I met my wife through that as well. Her best friend was a criminal defense attorney who I'd met through work, named Frank Averia, and I met her at his 30th birthday party. And I remember him coming over. He's like, "You two are the 2 best people I know." And I'm like, "You're really drunk." And 20 years later, she's still with me. And I would say that's kind of a lot of the hobbies. My wife is Scottish, so soccer was always a big part growing up. Her dad played professionally, and her uncle and grandfather. And so both of our girls were soccer players. We finally took the year off, and that's one of the bonding things we all have. Mike's kids are all very good athletes. His daughter's an excellent soccer player. Bill's kids, he's got a son playing football and lacrosse, I think. Is he playing both?
Playing lacrosse.
Just lacrosse now, but he was a football lacrosse player. His daughter's an outstanding lacrosse player. She was like top 50 in the state at least, and she's going to Towson next year. Mm-hmm. So we all kind of bonded over the kids, and I think our pastimes and hobbies get put to the side. But what I found was I've got 2 little daredevils. I got my wingmen. I like to do crazy things. I like to ski off of cliffs and helicopters, and I race cars, and I scuba dive with sharks, and I've cage dived with great whites, and I'll climb anything, I'll fly anything, I'll hike anything, I'll swim anything. I never say no. They always go to mommy first, and she says, "No, you're not jumping off that cliff." And then she comes to daddy, and "Daddy, can we?" Yeah, come on, brace yourself. And they are just so much fun because they're into it, and it allows you to keep your childhood going. And then to see how advanced the kids are now compared to us. I mean, these guys were both great athletes too. Mike was a big basketball player. Bill played college basketball. And I don't know about you guys, but I look at the ages our kids are and how good they are, and I'm just absolutely blown away every time. Like, you guys are ridiculous.
Yeah, kids are such better shape nowadays, the things they do. They're just such better athletes than we were growing up. It's unbelievable. But I grew up in New York as well, and my wife is born and raised. She was born in Miami, grew up in Palm Beach Gardens, so she's been in this area her whole life. I mean, she's been here since she was 5. So when we met in college in Virginia and came down here, and so she's been in this community. So I started meeting people in this community, as soon as we were together. And we've been married 21 years now. We have 3 kids. One in college, who's a sophomore. He plays lacrosse there. I have a senior in high school who goes to a school right here in West Palm Beach. And then I have a 9-year-old who, is at school up in Jupiter. So we've been in the community. We've been involved in the community through sports, or just about every type of sport. You name it, we've played it, all the kids, boys and girls. kind of like you guys. Your girls are just going through that age right now, but you're in the same boat. It's just they play all the sports. You run around, you meet everybody because you get to know everyone in the community because you're so involved with just with your kids and what they're doing, and you get to meet everybody, which is great.
Well, Schuler's from New York too, so the three of you guys are New Yorkers.
Yeah.
I'm from the Midwest.
He says with pride,
Yes.
beaming.
I am from the village of Niles, which is a northwest suburb of Chicago.
Village of Niles. I thought you were going to say from Africa.
Yeah, I thought he was going to say he was from like
Village of
Scotland.
Niles.
Come from the
Along the
village of
Nile
Niles.
River.
I have been married to my wife Benny for 15 years. She is from Guatemala, so we spend a lot of time going back home to Chicago to visit family. We spend a lot of time going to Guatemala to visit her family. I'm 6'4", and so as you can imagine, going to Guatemala is always an interesting experience for me.
Do you speak Spanish?
You're like Godzilla going into Tokyo.
6'4" gringo, no Spanish. All right.
Un poquito. I know how to order a rum and coke. But we have 3 kids, sophomore in high school, 8th grader, and a 6th grader. And it's all sports. It's all sports. It's soccer, basketball, more basketball, flag football, you name it. That's my hobby, is driving my kids to sporting events.